Justice for Black people is an existential threat to America. The two things are, they don't exist together. I'm convinced and I'm committed to working towards securing for my children and grandchildren, those who come after them, a world where Black justice is a fact. It's just a fact. It's over. The begging is over. The protesting is over. The being powerless as your children are jailed and shot at is over. And that world isn't a distant, we shall overcome world to me. That world is, it's like the day after tomorrow. It's close. I don't think that we have ever properly framed this idea of what it is to have, this race problem in the United States. We have not properly framed this idea of what we're talking about when we say race problem in the United States. There was a nation of people formed by the common experience of being defined by law and custom as objects, as commodities, as property. This is not something that every group of people has experienced. This is a system that was enforced with, regular barbarities that approach anything that we've experienced in the good old bloody 20th century and its genocides. All of that has to be, that truth, that facticity, that bloody facticity of what it took to enslave millions of African people, suppressing that is necessary to keeping America afloat. The truth of that has to be suppressed. If people knew it, they'd stop and say, well, we have to do something about that, so they suppress it. We, whose ancestors experienced it, the abuse is humiliating. Our collective memory knows it, but struggles to articulate it. Our most empowered and beloved geniuses. Man, I love me some Toni Morrison. Because in Beloved, she told through speculative fiction, she painted a picture of just what kind of a hell it was for Black families to try to be human beings in a system that had defined you as something other than a human being. When you understand that, then the assumption that when the system of slavery, which was a matter of law and its enforcement, is over, that now the ex-slaves should find their happy place within the very same society that had enslaved them and defined them as property? That assumption is ridiculous, and that's at the bottom of everything we've been talking about when we talk about the race problem. Therefore, we're stuck at neutral. So I had the privilege, honor, and just everything in life is kind of random, isn't it? So I worked in my how old was I? Was I in my 20s, late 20s, early 30s, with the president of the Republic of New Africa, the provisional government of the Republic of New Africa. His name was Imari Obadeli, and he transformed my way of looking at a race problem that had been given to me always as a conflict within a society between ethnicities into an understanding that the only logical way to look at what happened to Black people here is to look at it as a conflict between two nations, this larger dominant nation and the nation constituted by the descendants of property, the descendants of the system of chattel slavery. So he said, and it makes every bit of sense in the world, that the thing that should have happened and would have happened under our current framework of international law at the end of the Civil War would have been a plebiscite, would have been a vote where these Newly defined human beings, if they're really free, can decide what their political destiny is. Now, if you bring that up now, you sound like a weird extremist that is suggesting we do something that is absolutely unreasonable. But I think that there would be an enormous, enormous amount of cathartic energy in discussing the central question at the root of it all, which is how long should Black people keep trying to be a part of a society that keeps shooting at them and telling them that they'll have no part of it? Asking the question might be the bridge towards healing the problem, even if it doesn't result in the formation of an independent Black state, which was what Obadeli was suggesting when I worked with him as his Minister of Information from about 1984 to 1989. And a beautiful, beautiful individual, a political prisoner. I won't get into the details of his incarceration and eventual release and recognition by Amnesty International that he was indeed a political prisoner, but an eloquent student of human rights, basic principles of human rights applied to the conditions of Black people. So that's why I provoke the woke, because I think they're still using a paradigm. They're being louder, maybe a little better organized within a paradigm, a framework that won't give us anything but more of the same. Incremental rearrangements of superficial realities. And, I saw like last night somewhere in Ohio, um, the policeman. You have like the state policeman. The guy has a traffic situation where the guy has run from the police in a semi, gets out of the truck. The county cop has a dog, canine unit. And the state police, the guy has his hands up and the cops have their guns drawn and the guy is under control. He's posing no threat. And the state police are yelling at the county cops saying, don't let the dog out on him. His hands are raised. Don't. And the guy walks up to the guy, black man, and the dog tears him, shreds him up. And the cops are saying to him, now the footage changes. And CNN shows me a picture of the police attending to the man. The dog is out of the picture, and the man is struggling. And they said, "Put your head down. Stop struggling." He said, "You just had a dog bite me. What do you want me to do?" So I mean, at a point, and this applies. I don't live. I have the benefit. I've got a PhD. I work at a university. But I'm still afraid of raising my sons in a climate where law enforcement thinks they're targets. There's something to sick a dog on. There's something to work out their sadistic little whims on. So at a point, to me, if I'm still asking for relief from that, then now I'm no longer thinking in terms of, and I'm not, this is important, and it's important to frame this in, this is a public document, what we're doing here. I'm not a racialist. I have a problem with white empire, which I detest and will commit every fiber of my being to destroying. But white people, I take like everybody else, one at a time, one at a time.